My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. I'm finishing that tape, and the name of this one will be, well, it'll start out Court Jester, and that's the one I'm going to have on the previous one. I don't know if there's something else following it, but right now that's it, because they made a laughing stock out of me. They put me on the side of the road. They put me in rags. When they brought me over to Bolton, Alabama, and I grew up thinking I was a twin, Peggy and Carl, and that Carl was dead. Well, now I've got his birth certificate now, and death certificate, and the birth certificate of Peggy. And the state of Alabama is actually just marked through the birth dates and that they were born in a different year, by the way, and inserted over the top in ink, which it says is illegal, but everything done to me was illegal. So it's a joke, and there you get the court gesture. This country's it's funny that they can take over Great Britain, and they took over the monarchy. She's illegal. That's my dad that took him down. Why'd they take him down and put a 99-year seal on him? And that's the double. So an imposter became the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. And my dad's running around. This is my mom, George O'Keefe's sister. And so my dad was legally married, and they took him down. My birth doesn't show on the royal family. I am the royal family. Hey, I'm the good one, my father and me, not this cold-blooded, sick, sell-out woman. By the way, the hat and everything she has on, the flowers, I don't know about them. Maybe somebody gave them to her, but they're mine, money that paid for it. And her whole brood that have done nothing. I'm going to show you the brood. Give me a minute here. My kids and I have been tortured and in hell, and the British have too. That's who stood by me and the Germans. So don't give me this crap about, I listen to the radio about how Germans, it's this country. Okay, here's Charles, who married a commoner, by the way, Catholic. And here's Prince William. That's supposed to be my son, this heir. And this woman, this is her whole brood here. Look at them. Using my money, and I'm living on the Appalachian Trail, starving. By the way, when she came through here in the state of Virginia, paid her. This is when the mind control murders. I wrote about that, and they're done in patterns and how it was done. But she was brought in when I was living on the Appalachian Trail here near Roanoke, and you talk about no toilet, no food, nothing for a long time. I couldn't even get tents and sleeping bags, so I froze. It gets where I stayed up there in the winter. It gets, I'm not kidding, I would dare say at least 25 when the wind's blowing. It would freeze you in a heartbeat, like a gallon of water. I thought I had anyway, you know what a gallon of water looks like. And anyway, now I wanted to get back to the patterns. I've just said that maybe on this one. When I was out at Flint's, when Larry McDonald, the Dr. Congressman, I was a candidate. I'd written about him in a medical malpractice book, MD, a license to kill, while I lived at Moonraker Apartment in Marietta. Larry Flint was shot, and he even says here, I know who was responsible for his shooting. He also says that I'm a pauper. Talks about Kathy McDonald and anyway, well, I am. My own family made me a pauper, took my mom and dad away from me, took my country. Hey, listen to this. Someone at breakfast, no offense, this lady didn't mean to be offensive to me, but she said, pardon me, but you sound like a Southerner to me. Well, I sound like Loretta Lynn, and I don't dislike Loretta Lynn, but excuse me, I'm not supposed to sound like that. I can't get it. You put this woman and try letting this fake fraud, look at her eyes. Look at them. My God, she's a killer. Sold her country out, part of the New World Order. Oh, please. Okay, now where was I going? I wanted to get back to the FBI gave me a letter after I'd done the book, and I hope I made a point about the KAL going down. Larry McDonald was on it from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea, August the 31st of '83. And by the way, I know how people feel. I don't know if they'll ever see what was really done, but Diana was killed in the car crash. I think it was 10 years later on August the 31st. So people, it's really strange. The British citizens are the ones that stood behind me all the years and allowed me to find out my real name and everything, and the Germans. Uh, it's very strange how people are in love with Elizabeth and Diana and her two sons. When I was brought over here, they took down my father. I'm Victoria the Second, and they're using my money. Why do you think they've never reached out to me to even when I've gone through all this? Uh, the state of Virginia paid her when she came to Virginia in '07, and that's when the Virginia Tech shootings took place next door to me here at Virginia Tech, about, I don't know, 45 miles from here. This bunch of murders happened. There was 33 died in that, and the odd thing, I've told everybody this, in Atlanta, I mean, these murders go back to, I didn't know the mechanism used. I knew they were done in patterns, so I was telling it a long time ago. It was only when I started working for doctors that I started finding out about mind control and how they could do a heart pass and put a chip in you or in root canals, etc. And if you found out about it, where are you gonna go? You have to stop the programming. Mental illness, to put you on psychotic drugs is the most. Well, I've said this in another tape. What if you went to the doctor and you had cancer or anything else, but they treated you for mental illness and gave you psychotic drugs? You would think it's so outlandish. The people that's been programmed like this man, Holmes, is in a living hell, and he doesn't deserve it. He's a victim just like the people that were shot. The people that give the command are the people doing the killing, and it doesn't seem to bother people. Who do you think? I'm going to refer you back to the people that gave me the letter, okay, the agency. And over the years, I've pondered it all, and they may have protected me, but also a lot of things happened that I'm not going to say on the tape. I'm not sure I'll ever get to. I remember talking on the phone. I thought I was talking to Michael Ken, who was the agent in charge, and I've looked at it, found his picture since I've been up here. And that's not the man that I talked to all those times. But on the phone, it was in '79. Right after I got the letter, I guess, he said to whoever the agent was, said to me, I'm Michael Ken. That's what he said, and he spelled his name, and I thought, well, I can still spell that. And then he said, I'm also Helms. And Helms was the CIA director that had the book Keeper of the Secrets. So in this whole thing, the CIA and FBI have collaborated in it. So it's not just what he's telling about. It's involving mind control and all that. But then you've got the New World Order, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, people that kidnapped me and took over everything British and used it for a launching pad to take over the world, which they've done now. Now then, I wanted to get back on this real quick before I stop. I told about Ennis, who was the probation officer for Flint during the Falwell parody thing in Roanoke, Virginia. I've told about that in the connection to me here in Roanoke. And, Ennis, Cosby's son, Bill Cosby's son, Ennis, was killed out there, and supposedly the Russian killed him. He pulled